browser I use. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Osquery Office Hours. It is early March. The weather is springtime where I am, sort of, and all over the place for everyone else here. Anyhow, welcome. Announcements. I think we cut a release since last time, and I think that's probably out on several beta or alpha channels, right?
Oh, is it since last time? Yeah, it probably was since the last meeting here. It was around 2 weeks ago. 5.22.1, I think, because 5.22.0 had code signing issues on macOS because it needed a new provisioning profile or something like that for the entitlements on macOS. So there were no code changes between 22.0 and 22.1, but there on macOS there was a code signing change, and that is indeed now available, and it has been on Fleet's beta or alpha, or we call it Edge channel, for now over a week at least, I believe. I think that there may still be some. I can tell you it is running successfully on a number of hosts. There is some specific QA that we are doing that I'm not sure if it's completed. I've just inquired, but we like to try to QA any feature or bug fix that our team adds. So that may still be in progress, but I'm, yes, inquiring.
Yeah, I pushed this to Collide's alpha channel today, and we'll probably push it to the beta channel within a week. I don't think we've seen any issues. It was hanging out on Nightly for a little while too. So I feel like it's a little early to declare it stable, but I don't think we've seen any issues yet.
Okay. Do you have a time when you'd like to?
No, when you finish your testing, we could call it good. That'll probably be in a few days. If we're lagging, it doesn't. Y'all do fine work. Like I don't know. I don't feel too concerned.
Okay, sounds good. I will reach out in the core channel when I've confirmed with my team that we are good to go.
Mm-hmm. Other announcements? Okay. We can talk a little bit about PRs. I put a bunch up. Thank you, Charvel, for reviewing many of them. I engaged Cursor and started burning through some things. I do have one more that I would appreciate review on. It is adding command line flags related to query input, query file input, or output, and sort of just cleaning up a bunch of like behaviors around that. So it's not very exciting. I think it's pretty boring, but we can merge it. I see we're also getting more PRs from more people out there, probably also with some AI intermingled. But they're all reasonably known people and reasonable looking PRs, so no complaints.
Yes, I can tell you some of these are from Fleet folks. Well, Lucas and Victor, I think you guys know them. Plus there's this Brian McKinney from, is it Elastic, I think, who made
it might be Elastic.
Nice contribution to the last release, is doing the Yara work here, so that's exciting as well.
Oh, that reminds me, I had a question about the Yara work that I asked, and Brian didn't know the answer either. I'm trying to read it quickly. That's right. This is maybe a question for us. So one of the things he's doing for Yara to scan a process, it has to sort of change the namespace, I guess. It has to, like, on Windows, it has to, like, I think it's probably the equivalent of set UID. And then at the end of that, it tries to reset privileges back to where it was. What should happen if it fails?
Yeah, I see your comment here. I think it should probably exit. Yeah, I mean, like let's be safe. It seems
Yeah.
unlikely it should fail if it can like set the privilege once. Well, I don't know. I guess maybe you can set your privilege to a way that you don't have the privilege to reset your privilege.
Then we should exit and revert this real fast.
But yeah, no, I think that regardless, exit seems prudent.
That was sort of my vibe on that particular action. Okay, let's make sure that happens then, and before we merge that. I don't know. Are there other things people are waiting to get reviewed? Or hoping we get reviewed?
I have intentions to look at all of these open PRs.
Oh, thank you. There are only what, about 50 of them?
all the recent open ones, let's say. Yours, Seth, Brian's, I'll take a look at, and the fleet ones as well. None of them look like massive or crazy, so that's good.
Yeah, I've been trying to be a little bit more on top of reviewing them as well. The one from Victor is interesting. The merge launch services and apps. But I thought that was a super interesting one to see, just for what it kind of represents about data integrity on macOS. You're looking at me as if you do not have context on that PR.
No, I'm looking at the underlying issue for the PR because I haven't really had a chance to look yet.
Yeah, I remember those code paths, so I hadn't looked at the fleet issue, but
it's an issue in the Osquery repo 8789 that he links from that PR. Yeah, interesting.
Oh, I think we've seen this in the wild at Collide, actually, because the apps uses launch services, and we have encountered one user across the Collide user base sees differences in what he gets running Osquery locally and what Collide pulls running from the root context for Git. As the only for like Xcode, some Xcode installed Git or something. So it's just been this one root context different than user context, and we have no idea what's happening.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, it seems likely based on this comment that Victor has, based on the sentence in the last line of actual behavior, the user's launch services database has the correct path, so it appears.
Yeah, I wonder
not
what
when run is root.
It's like one of the things I don't think we ever solved this in Osquery, but I feel like there's this. Apple more and more has these like things are different in user context versus root context.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks. But I don't know how to handle that.
Okay. Well, seems like he's got a proposed fix here. I haven't certainly haven't fully grokked the code yet, but again, it looks reasonable at a skim.
I think I had a couple of minor minor things, but nothing. Oh, that's the wrong PR. Excuse me. Did I review this PR? I didn't say anything, but I did look at it, and it didn't look crazy to me. We already have both of the code paths, so it's really a pretty small change to run them both in dedupe. I don't have anything else I want to talk about. I want to talk about anything, or should we bail?
Just thank you, Stefano, for taking a look at the toolchain stuff. I'm attempting to make the updates you requested. I'm not really sure why I'm getting linker errors now, so just kind of trying to figure that out. But I think hopefully it will be sorted. Oh wow, this is some beautiful GitHub UI here. Y'all have to see this. See that?
Yeah, had that a couple of times.
Okay.
The general port into Azure and the port to React has not been good for GitHub.
Yeah. But anyway, yes, Stefano, thank you for the feedback. I am attempting to figure out why the changes have broken the build in CI when it's working locally, which is, one of those typical wonderful things. And especially when the CI takes like 3-4 hours to run. So, but yeah, I'll reach out again when I have the changes done.
That smells like there is something that is using. So, like, first of all, is the version, I assume so, but is the environment of the CI identical to your local environment? So, like, it's the Ubuntu 22.04 VM that you're using, as far as
it's
you
close, I think.
Mm.
It's certainly not identical, but it's close. It was close enough that previously my local environment seemed to be a good way to test this. So
yeah, I'm seeing errors. It errored already, by the way. I'm seeing.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, I mean, it's still spinning, but I'm seeing errors in the first step of the build of the GCC. So cross-tool ng, I see cut right error, broken pipes, and then can't find Lagrange's section.
Huh, okay, but it's still.
I mean,
okay, weird.
When I updated the cross-tool ng version, I did have some weirdness locally. So
some of this broken pipe stuff, I think, is like GitHub Actions, like streaming the output of the commands, and does not actually represent issues here. But that one about the dwarf error, that I'm not sure. That seems like maybe more of an actual issue, especially since it says something about LD, which is where the issues are coming from later on.
Yep.
Okay, well, thanks for pointing that out.
It's also weird that it did not immediately fail the So it seems like the exit code is not being propagated. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure there's anything else to discuss today.
Well, in that case, I propose we call it a little early, unless y'all want to hang out and debug toolchain issues. But otherwise, I might skedaddle.
Sounds good. I think I'll spare all of you and just let it roll and then address the issues once I get all the output.
I guess maybe an interesting thing, like so I'm certainly playing with AI, and I'm reasonably confident that you are, Zach, as well.
Yeah.
But the Osquery build is horrifically hard and painful, and it feels very hard to create a tight feedback loop there. And I've run into this just in my own development before, like changing branches tends to leave our submodules broken. Build is very long. I don't know that there's a solution, but I'm kind of mulling on that a little bit. So I don't know if you're seeing similar things or.
Yes, for sure. I've seen similar things. I mean, I know one of the things that comes back to is like there are reasons why some of this is so painful because of the way the end product needs to work.
It's also Git, partially. I mean, switching branches, not changing the submodule, that's a bit of a Git thing. So you have to remember to call the update, submodule update one. But yeah.
The submodule things are like really baffling to me because there are also times when like Git thinks that there are changes in submodules, and I know I definitely have not intentionally made any changes in the submodules, and then it's really hard to undo any of those changes. Like sometimes I have to delete the submodule entirely and like reinitialize it. Like
I do that
I've never been able to explain those things.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what I mean. And I'm like, I'd love to have like a tighter feedback loop of like, I have this code now try and build it, right? And instead I'm like, I'll just push it to CI, build it on all the platforms, and I'll come back in an hour.
Yeah, that is painful for sure.
So I don't know. I just throw it out as a thing I'm kind of pondering in the background, and I don't want to change anything in our output, but I don't know if we can change any of our process. So actually,
yeah, it's something that I'd like to sort of think about and look at more once this toolchain upgrade is completed.
One thing I wonder, throw this out to people who know more C build toolchain than I do. We've talked about how our sort of the internal dependencies are tangled because we have things that effectively send SQL functions around. And I wonder if we put the effort in to fix that, if we can start getting to a point where rebuilding can be cheaper.
Not really. So partial rebuilds, maybe yes, because there's less weird dependencies. That work was mostly, which I mean, I feel is still important, but was mostly to avoid having test binaries that are huge.
I remember that. I'm wondering if we get an ancillary benefit, but not really as a finance.
No, like again, if we were talking from a full build point of view, I mean, I said not really, but so in some instances, we have some Okay, so when we are creating the Osquery binary, we are adding forcing the inclusion of entire archives, even if some of the symbols they bring in are not necessary. That might give some additional work, but only during linking, and normally that's not the main, I would say, the main issue. So there is maybe something to win there. So if you forget about the third-party libraries, like the Osquery files themselves, to build them, it's pretty fast. So it's less about the code Osquery code, and more about the third-party libraries. And so there was an old discussion we had. Nothing came of it, but I mean, there are some things to do, to check, to test. But anyway, the idea is to precompile the third-party libraries, but you have to be careful. You have to kind of try to come out with a hashing hashing mechanism for those libraries to know when you have to update them or rebuild them, and which set of precompiled third-party libraries goes with which build, etc., etc. So that would remove the huge amount of build time.
Yeah, I mean,
but because of that, I have found that incremental builds are usually way faster. Particularly when the AWS SDK doesn't need to be rebuilt.
So I've only found that to be true when they work, because it's been a while, but my memory is there's a handful of things. If you're changing a table spec, incremental builds don't work. You have to have a clean build because the generators aren't plumbed through correctly.
I don't think that's quite true. At least you don't have to rebuild the third-party dependencies.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think you're right that it is the third parties. I feel like the AWS build is what probably takes up the bulk of the time.
Yeah, which is the first one we added the build AWS flag for CMake to disable, because the main offender is the ECS client file. Yeah. I think updating, I haven't tried, but in theory, the newer version of AWS library is better structured, and so it should improve. It should speed up the completion time due to more parallelism or something like that. But yeah,
that sounds useful. As well, did you just mention there's a flag that can be used to turn off building the AWS SDK?
Yeah. All these kind of flags are all in the CMake options.cmake
options.cmake.
What do we use the AWS library for?
I think we use it for EC2 instance metadata, and I think we use it for writing to Kinesis and Firehose for logger plugins.
Kinesis. I bet there's another way to get at that EC2 data, but not so much on that Kinesis output.
No, there's probably another way to do all of it, but we just might have to write our own client, which sounds like work and error prone.
Or at least more code to maintain.
Yes.
I don't know. I wonder if AWS will ever just distribute, Google started distributing sub-libraries, at least for Go. So you don't have to pull in the entire GCP one. So I wonder if AWS has anything.
Yes, we are already doing that, unfortunately. So that's...
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is it's just really massive. I think all we're building is Kinesis, Firehose, and EC2, but it's the EC2 one that's really big, because there's so many API calls for EC2. Now, to that, it might be worth looking at whatever we're doing with the EC2 client, maybe that we could split out and not use the EC2 client to do it. And then that might save, I don't know, 80% of the AWS build, which might end up saving us a lot. But
what was the file? Because there was a file that was full of templates specifically and was causing the biggest
EC2.
spike in.
Yeah, I think it's EC2 client.cpp.
Yeah, I remember I used to, before starting the build, I would build specifically one object file because it was using like, how much gigabyte of RAM was it using? I don't remember. 8? Was it possible 8?
Maybe 6. Yeah,
Just a single file.
yes. Yeah, it has a huge list of includes, and also it's all templated. So
well, but
Look
thanks
at
for putting out this
Seth's
options.cmake though. There's like some good stuff here. Like you can turn off various things to build, which might save some time in some scenarios. And then on CI, we're doing the full builds anyway, so that like could be useful.
Yeah, it's definitely worth knowing about locally. I'm still sort of chewing on like how can we, like if I had to point at something in the Osquery development process, this is probably one of the more frustrating things. It's just the build is hard and slow.
Yeah.
And it, we shouldn't compromise our project goals, of course, but like if there's thoughts we have or work we can do.
Yeah. Completely with you on that.
Anyhow, on that note, thank you all for your regular contributions, presence, and deep knowledge of our build tool chain and the ways in which it frustrates me. So thank you all. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to
Thanks,
turn
everyone.
off the recording.